Hey, it's Natasha.
And Khalil.
And we are the co-hosts of
Woke and Free.
Thank you for tuning in to our 84th episode of Woke and Free. If you've been tuning in every week for Woke and Free Wednesday, you know that Woke and Free is all about being real and honest with each other and you. We talk about everything and anything important to us, you, the world, and nothing is off the table. This week, we're talking all about the Us movie and what it's all about. But before we dive deep into this really exciting subject, a couple of questions to ask you. First, have you subscribed to Woke and Free on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, or even by email? If not, please go to WokeNFree.com and subscribe away. Next, have you shared an episode with friends or family? If you are a big fan of the Us movie, then this is definitely the episode to share. Not to mention all the other episodes we have on the website. So please go to WokeNFree.com and share away. Next, if you are interested in talking to us on social media, we're super active. If you have breaking news, if you have episode ideas or collaboration ideas, always feel free to find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even YouTube at Woke and Free. And then lastly, have you reviewed the show? If you're interested in giving us a review and your deeper thoughts on what we're doing and what this platform is all about, please pick your platform of choice to review the show on iTunes, on TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, or any of the other platforms by picking your platform at WokeNFree.com.
Each week, we like to share a little bit about us before we dive into the topic for the episode. Last week, we shared what's your guilty pleasure when it comes to food. This week, we're sharing, would you rather be stuck in an elevator or on a ski lift?
Clearly asking, like, the important questions of life. Yep.
This is a super general question.
For sure. For me, I don't really like heights. That's not a fear that I have dedicated time in conquering yet. So I guess I would say, for me, I would prefer to not see how high in the sky I am. So I would go with the elevator. But what's your choice?
At first, I thought the ski lift because you'd have the open air and it'd be easier to breathe. But then I really thought about it and I said the elevator because at least when you see in the movies, there's like hatches that you can escape and get out of and you can maybe get to the next floor. But on the ski lift, it's like a long way down. So
True.
I think I'd rather be in the elevator because I'll give the rescuers an easier chance of getting to me. I mean, the biggest problem in the elevator is you don't want the cable to like snap or something and you fall down to your death.
Yep.
That could be an issue. Or if you're I'm not claustrophobic, so I don't care about that. But maybe if it gets really hot in there and stuff. But I think the elevator is the better. It's a safer bet than the ski lift. The ski lift, you really don't know your chances of survival. If you fall, you're done deal. So
Absolutely.
I think the elevator, you have a little bit better chance of getting out of it quicker and safer without any damage.
It's ironic that you actually posed that question because I was just rewatching an old episode of Fringe, and there was a bunch of people who were in an elevator who well, technically they died not by the elevator fall, but they were like electrocuted because of someone who had some weird like electromagnetic abilities or whatever. But I just thought that was interesting since I just watched 8 people die in an elevator, and I was like, oh. Fun times, guys. But
they wouldn't have died in the ski lift. They would have just
jumped
off on their skis and kept skiing away.
They would have
maybe
they would have had to do some type
they weren't
of
far up
interesting
enough.
stunt or something. The other reason I would say elevator also is just I'm not a fan of the cold air, and it just seems like you could just like get hypothermia out in the ski lift. It just seems bad. Yeah.
And I don't know if the ski lift has a way that you can actually talk to the first responders or anything.
I don't believe
they don't have that intercom system going on. I think it's just a bench and you're in the air.
That's a good business idea, though.
Yeah, if they don't have that, you can do that.
There you go, guys.
All right, well, we've got to mention this before even jumping into the questions, just so people know. But spoiler alerts ahead, people. Hopefully you've seen the movie because we're going to discuss things that will give away certain elements of the movie. That's why spoiler alerts, because we want to just talk freely about it. We don't want to limit ourselves for people who haven't been up on the movie game, because you should have seen this by now. And if you haven't, go see it first, then come back to this episode, and then you'll be ready to listen to what we think about it.
Absolutely.
Then we're going to ask our first question. What is the Us movie all about?
So, guys, if you really want a detailed breakdown, you and me can go through this on Wikipedia, and all links that we refer to, of course, guys, you can find on WokeNFree.com in the episode. So, Wikipedia tells all the business of the movie. It first off starts by saying, in 1986, young Adelaide Thomas goes on vacation with her parents in Santa Cruz in California. At the beach, Adelaide wanders off and enters a fun house where it says this doesn't say that, but in the movie, I think what does find yourself, right?
Find yourself.
Find
yeah,
yourself
it says
is
that.
stated on the outside of it. And there she encounters a doppelganger of herself in the Hall of Mirrors. Adelaide looks horrified and the scene cuts to black. Adelaide is later reunited with her parents. Although unable to speak, her parents take her to see a therapist because of presumed emotional trauma, who instructs them to encourage Adelaide to draw, sing, or dance to express her emotions. Then cut to the present day. She's now an adult and she's heading to her family's beach house in Santa Cruz with her husband, Gabe Wilson, their children, Zora and Jason. Adelaide, remembering the traumatic incident from her youth, is apprehensive about the trip. Gabe, the husband, is eager to impress their rich white friends. This is from Wikipedia. FYI.
Yeah, they calling out the racial identifier there. I don't know about that one.
Yeah. Their rich white friends, Josh and Kitty Tyler, who purchases a boat and brushes off Adelaide's concerns. At the beach, Jason sees a man in a red jumpsuit standing alone with blood dripping from his hands. He does not tell his family about the man. That night, a strange family of 4 appears, attacks the Wilsons, and breaks into the home. The Wilsons realize that the 4 intruders are the doppelgangers of themselves, which is led by Adelaide's double, Red. Each of them are wearing the same jumpsuit as the man on the beach, and Jason's doppelganger, Pluto, is wearing a white, skin-tight mask. Red, the only doppelganger who speaks, which is Adelaide's doppelganger, she tells the Wilsons the story of a girl who lives a happy life while her shadow suffers. The shadow is denied any love or companionship and is forced to eat a raw rabbit every time the girl eats. The shadow ends up hating the girl and vows revenge. It's deep, guys. The family is then separated by their opposites. Red makes Adelaide handcuff herself to a table. Zora is pursued by Hombre. Gabe is dragged onto the boat by Abraham, and Jason is sent to play, in quotes, guys, with Pluto in the closet. While chasing Zora, Hombre is interrupted by an investigating neighbor whom she stabs with scissors. The distraction allows Zora to escape. Gabe is able to kill Abraham with his boat intermittently malfunctioning motor, while Jason discovers that Pluto mirrors his actions almost exactly. He's able to distract Pluto with the magic trick and lock him in a closet. Red is drawn to Pluto's cries, allowing Adelaide time to break free. The family regroups and escapes on Gabe's misfunctioning boat.
Wow.
Meanwhile, the Tylers are murdered, the white rich family, are murdered by their doubles. The Wilsons arrive and realize the same thing has happened to the Tylers. They kill the Tylers' doubles and turn on the news to see that millions of doppelgangers who call themselves the Tethered have been murdering their original counterparts throughout the United States. The doppelgangers subsequently join hands together to form a massive human chain, which the newscasters speculate is a form of protest. The Wilsons drive away in the Tyler's car until they are attacked by Hombre, who is killed after being launched into a tree.
Yeah.
As day breaks, the Wilsons arrive at the Santa Cruz boardwalk, where they find their own abandoned wagon on fire. Pluto has set a trap to kill the Wilsons by lighting a gasoline trail to the Tyler's car. Jason, remembering that Pluto mirrors his every move, walks backward. Pluto follows, walking backwards into the flames, and is then killed. While the Wilsons are transfixed by Pluto's self-immolation, Red reappears and then abducts Jason. While Zora and Gabe recuperate in an abandoned ambulance, Adelaide returns to the boardwalk funhouse and walks through a secret tunnel in the Hall of Mirrors. This leads to an underground facility overrun by rabbits, where... This
Silly
is crazy.
rabbit.
Yes, tricks are for kids. Yeah. Where Adelaide finds Red. Red states that the Tethered were clones of the U.S. population created by the government in an attempt to control the public. But the experiment failed, and the Tethered were abandoned underground for generations, trapped beneath the surface, doing nothing but forced to mimic the actions of their above-ground counterparts until Red organized them to escape as a form of revenge. The two fight, and Adelaide manages to kill Red and rescue Jason. When the family leaves town, Adelaide thinks back to the night she first met Red in the funhouse. It is revealed that Red strangled Adelaide and dragged her into the facility, chaining the real Adelaide to a bed in the facility, and went out to take her place in her life, meaning Red is the original Adelaide. Jason watches her apprehensively before covering his face with his mask. As the family drives off, helicopters watch the tethered joining hands across the United States. Booyah!
Well, yeah, you pretty much gave away the whole movie there.
The whole kabam on
That's
Wikipedia.
definitely a spoiler there. I mean,
Yeah.
that is the whole movie, just like in even details and telling you certain scenes that are interesting.
I mean, there's still some things that you still have to see.
Yeah, there's some other stuff, but
that's the whole kabam. Good job, Wikipedia. Good job.
Yeah, I mean, I think I could wrap that all up in one sentence. And my summary for the movie is, on the surface, it's actually a family terrorized by their clones.
Good job, writer.
That's all it's about. It's about the clones coming after the family.
Yeah, there's some other deeper meanings.
That's the plot, though. That is the plot. Some of the plot
in California. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it could be anywhere, but yeah, you could say it's California. Yeah, I mean, there you go.
Well, the family we're seeing is in California, but technically, it's happening everywhere in the United States.
Yeah, it's everywhere. That's why. Yeah, I mean, the clones are out. They're coming to kill you. Get ready for it.
Hell of a movie, guys. So, what would you say then are the hidden messages in the movie?
I think one that I thought about was actually one of privilege, I thought. And that's because if you look at the surface people, they were able to be like conscious about the choices that they made in their lives and the things they did. And the clones actually had to kind of mimic what the surface people were doing. So they didn't have the privilege that the top people had. And I know I saw some other stuff about us being a symbolism for U.S., as in United States.
Yep.
And the United States is definitely a nation of privileges and people using their privilege for different benefits. And I think that this movie was trying to speak to that as one of the messages in the movie. And I think it came across pretty clear to me. I mean, you saw that duplicity and the duality between the surface people and the clones below.
Absolutely. Okay, so for me, I always have a long list.
You're nuts.
Let's go through it. So first, duplicity for sure, right? There is, but I saw it as, yes, in the movie they're clones. The tethered are the clones of the above ground people. Yeah. But in life, are we one-sided? No. We sometimes have one face that we show at work, one face that we show to family, one face that we show in the street. That we all have multiple personalities. So I thought,
you think this movie
the
spoke
idea
to that?
Of personalities and, who are you really? And then also how Adelaide wasn't really the real Adelaide, and we didn't even know that throughout the entire film. Like, so, it's interesting, who we think people are could totally not be who they are. So that was an interesting theme.
That's true.
Darkness, yes, there were tethered people, but I think that was symbolism to say, we all have an inner darkness or inner dark abilities that we could display or do display in this world as we see people being chopped up and put in bags and people doing horrible things. So I think there was a message of darkness and what human beings are truly capable of, which is, to kill another human is, one of the most egregious acts one can commit. So that was interesting. Also anarchy. I think for me, by watching that movie, I think it showed the idea that we are all much closer to the breakdown of our society than we actually think we are. And it could just take one night of like the movie Purge, if you guys are familiar with that, just people losing their minds, their rabid ass minds and going in and just saying, all right, here we go. I'm here. I'm ready. And what would that mean if people just decided to do that? I think we're closer to anarchy than people want to think we are. And, but maybe they do because of our current political status. But, I don't know. And then I talk about also the fact that so also what I thought is interesting is as the audience, we didn't know who Adelaide was, but Gabe didn't know who the hell he was married to.
Yeah, definitely.
So I thought that was really interesting that we don't know each other in our own family units. Super creepy, super scary, right? That you don't know who your wife is.
And he had the children. He had these
had
children with her.
He's
living a life with her. He didn't know who she was.
Didn't know.
He didn't know her past or anything.
Yeah, he obviously wasn't asking critical questions,
okay,
guys.
now I learned new things about you.
Because if he had asked her critical questions, she couldn't have faked everything. So that's creepy. There's also I thought the image of being strength, unification, because Adelaide was really only able to survive that night of horror because her family helped her in different parts of the movie. You saw the kids helping to save her, or Gabe helping to save them. So, people are stronger together. I thought that was a message. And then another last message I would say would be, you can't run from your past. So Adelaide was scared to go back to the beach.
Do you think that was hidden though? That's a hidden message. That seemed like obvious.
She
went right back to it. I would say
it's a deeper message, right? It's a deeper message of that your past.
She literally
if you have
went back
unresolved
to her past.
things, yeah,
she literally went to where she was born.
Yeah, exactly.
She walked right back to that.
If you don't deal with what your unresolved things, your past will be your present and your future. So I thought that was another message there.
All right. Now, what were common misunderstandings that people had with this movie that explained most of the things to the audience?
So the true Adelaide, I think that people probably were like, what? Because even in some of the scenes, it wasn't really clear. I don't want to talk all about that, but
really?
How they were, you can, like when they were fighting, right? And they were making weird noises, Adelaide in red.
At that was
point, interesting.
That's when I was wondering. At that point I said, wait a minute, who's who? Because she was making some of those sounds that only the mistaken can make.
Yeah, I think also there's a confusion as to why were these doppelgangers, because I don't think the movie really went deep enough into how did the science project start, who started it, why did they want to do it, and then also the general meaning of the film. I think that people, because Jordan Peele did such a wonderful job with Get Out, I think people were just assuming that this was going to be in the world of Get Out, but it's not. But so then what's is privilege the underlining theme for both of them? I definitely agree that would be the case.
Yeah,
but
I think so.
It'd be interesting. So those are some of the things I thought.
You are now listening to WokeNFree.
WokeNFree?
WokeNFree.
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 The podcast that keeps it real and honest.
I mean, I couldn't even understand why there were misunderstandings with this movies, because I've seen other movies where you don't get any words in the beginning that tell you anything that's going on, because there was hints at underground tunnels and possible experiments that people couldn't explain. Adelaide or Red actually explained the story to the family in the beginning. That doesn't always happen in movies. I think nowadays people want things to be spoon fed to them.
Or the rabbits, they didn't explain that. Why did they have to eat rabbits? Why was rabbits?
Yeah, no, rabbits.
So that wasn't explained.
There were certain things not explained, but certain things were. I mean, to me, the main plot was kind of there. It was she told them where they came from. She literally said that. She didn't make it obscure or anything and just make sounds she was talking in English. So to me, I don't know. Unless you don't believe what she was saying, that's another. I mean, then you're getting deep. Was she really saying the truth or was she lying? I mean, that
could always be asked. Yeah.
That's the only way I could say, I didn't understand it because I didn't believe what the doppelganger said. I mean, that's the only way. But she literally was explaining where they came from, and then throughout the movie, they were doing flashbacks and stuff and showing us what went on. The movie didn't actually show us fake scenes too, because I know sometimes movies try to really mislead you, but this didn't do that. So the misunderstandings were a little bit interesting to me. I can't say that they made the most sense, but. But
I felt like we should talk about it just because.
Yeah, there were misunderstandings.
When it came out opening weekend, that's all I kept seeing. People saying, "What's us all about? What is Jordan Peele doing? What is he talking about?"
Let's see.
Over and over and over again.
If you could, it would be let's go to Red's scene. Let's listen to what she says. This is what Red has to say, and this is what the movie's about. She literally explains it all to you. I mean, that to me was the giveaway.
But it's kind of I think this actually circles back to our previous episode about, are people reading enough? What
do you have to read? She was talking.
If you can't read, you couldn't have read that.
You could just listen.
Sign in the first.
That just helped. That opened you up. So even if I didn't hear that thing about the beginning about the tunnels and that there's unexplained things that happened and why these tunnels existed, I would have heard Red explain that we were the tethered people and we were underground and we had to follow and live the life that you live and not choose
But also,
as you
you're
chose. And they
assuming
showed
that
scenes.
people watching the
Literally
movies
said that.
are also good active listeners. Like sometimes
maybe.
people
I mean, you
listen
zoned
and
out.
things go in and out.
You're like, ooh, this is a
And,
crazy
yeah,
clone
and
and
people,
she's scary.
Just like Rocky said in,
Oh, no.
I think what Creed, you know, when you're talking, it means you're not listening. So a lot of people, and you might be this person, and you should shame yourself, because if you go to the movie theater and all you want to do is talk to your friend and, oh my God, did you see this? You're not listening because you're too busy talking. So
You're like, oh my God, she has scissors. They're golden.
and then you're missing what she's saying, and then
You're
you're
like, come on
totally
now.
lost. So just note to self, that is a pet peeve of many people,
Maybe.
including me,
That could've
when
been
I
it.
hear a bunch of nonsense in the theater. Stay
Yeah.
home if you can't keep your mouth shut.
Well, if you're being too much of a big critic and like making all these comments, then
Yeah.
you could miss what she's like
Absolutely.
explaining about the story.
Absolutely.
She's explaining the meat and potatoes of the story right there.
I mean,
so.
yeah, this is definitely a movie you want to listen, you want to pay, you're to open up your eyes, open up your ears, as they like to say. So
Yeah, I mean, to me, the movie gives you the parts where it wants you to react. Like
Yeah.
it gives you that little delay, and it's like waiting, and like yeah, you react, and then it goes on, and it's like, wait, I'm gonna explain something to you. Like, listen up.
Oh, and just in case we
Makes it
didn't
clear.
say it, but the Adelaide
What?
and her family, they're a black family. So thus the contrast with their white friends. I don't think Wikipedia said that in the summary. So,
No, they don't say that.
and
no.
that was, and I felt like as a person of color, it was really cool to see a horror film surrounding a black family. I don't think I've ever seen that. So that was.
You've seen it, but not in the same vein. You've
Yeah,
seen
not in the
Tales from the Hood. You've
Yeah,
seen
but not
other
in the
stuff.
same vein. And that,
Yeah.
like, bravo Jordan Peele for being revolutionary in
it's
showing people
definitely
of
nice.
color in a genre like this. Because
it's funny though. It's nice that we're seeing black family be terrorized.
but I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a
kinda
little,
funny.
it's a little messed
No, but
up.
it's good just to see us on film acting.
We have to see, yeah. we
If
have
you got to
see
go
it,
beyond,
so.
it's a horror film. Go and look; these are actors.
Yeah,
and-
absolutely.
And like it was really acted well. That's one thing. To
Oh
commend.
yeah, bravo to Lupita Nyong'o.
She did
She
good.
is bomb. Like her performance was fire, guys. Like fire. So definitely Oscar worthy. If she doesn't get an Oscar, I'm smashing my television. Like I'm just gonna be so angry. But
Well, was there anything you wanted to see in the movie that wasn't there?
yeah, so I'm not necessarily as big of a science nerd as you are per se, but I would have been
Wowzers.
interested in just seeing a bit more of the cloning process itself, because they talked about in the movie, spoiler alert, that when cloning, so the spirit can't be split. They were saying something about that. That's why they were tethered. So
They were connected,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
why they were connected. You can clone the body, but you can't split the spirit. And that's an interesting idea. And I would have liked to see the science around that. I would have also liked to see some of the doctors. And again, why the bunny rabbits? What's up with that? Like, why was that?
I know, they should give
meat of
potatoes.
choice, or like.
Potatoes and nuts, maybe.
Or
would've
like,
been better.
yeah, it could have been.
Potato and
it
nut
could have been
diet.
mac and cheese diet. I mean, like, why?
Tofu. I mean,
Yeah,
you
like,
can deal with
so
tofu. in
I
a light.
was interested in seeing
Bunnies
more
are
of the
hard.
science. Also, how did those caves come to be? When were they built? Were they built in the 1800s? Were they built in the 1900s?
Well,
I would
that's
have
stuff
liked
you-
a little bit more history as well.
All right. I mean, you wanted to know about the
The
tunnels,
context, yeah,
the
the
tunnels
context.
too. I mean, man, the tunnels. That's asking. For
Well, you know what? I would have liked just
just
a quick scenes of just like the building
they-
of them, or
because they even. I mean, they
like locking the door to
because
it.
they
or
at least
something,
hinted
or-
that there are tunnels that exist
But
in the
why?
United States.
And where?
They
when
don't
did
know
they-
why. They're unexplained. See, they do tell
Someone
you that.
knows though. So who's that person?
I mean, of course there are, but people die when they built a tunnel too, or they said.
Or I
"Make
would
this
have even
tunnel."
liked that. The
Yeah.
last known person involved in these projects
All
died
right.
in 1902.
You wanted
like
years to
some
and
type
stuff?
of
Wow, all
context.
right.
It would have. I
Wow.
don't know. It just solidifies things for me. The lawyer in me just wants to know.
Because some of that stuff would not even be available like that.
I
really
know,
wouldn't.
I know.
They
I
could
just
go
want
behind
to
the
know.
science and make whatever they want, but they want. I guess he wanted to be careful with
Well, you know
years
what it
and
is?
stuff.
It's kind of like, for me at least, with like the Hunger Games. Like, I appreciated how much story and behind the scenes was shared with, like, how did we get the districts? Why did we have the districts? How did the districts look? Like, I think context for film is really important, and it solidifies the story more with you, and it makes it more real and tangible. But, you know, that's
all right.
my perspective. How about you?
I think the most important thing I wanted to know was how did they keep that electricity running once the experiment was done?
Did I not say you were a science nerd?
How's that a science nerd? That's actually just
are they using solar energy?
It's just practicality. Who's powering this? Because I would look at my bills. All right, let's say if I'm the carnival and I'm saying, wait, why are we spending this much money? We shut down all of our lights. Where was all this money being run up from?
Maybe
our
it's
electricity's
magical
off.
lights. I
See,
don't know.
that to me is like technically that's a plot hole. Like people would realize, wait, why are we using this
paying all
much
this
electricity?
energy? Yeah.
Technically, that's just a straight up plot hole. Yeah, that wasn't explained. So I would like to know how they got over running this whole underground facility and nobody knew, because realistically, that's got to go somewhere.
How did you get more bunnies in there? Because they have to.
They started growing bunnies.
Yeah,
I know,
that's
yeah,
what I'm saying. There's the
tofu would have been easier. Though.
Yeah, there's like practical, like logistical things that needed to be answered. Yeah,
tofu would be a lot easier.
And then also, like, really, no one in the carnival above the tunnel would have like.
No, this is a hidden place.
There.
It's not easy to get into that. They have to let you into that. It's not. It's definitely not easy to get. I can go for it's a hidden thing and it's hard to get to. I can, because guess what? Even people that wander, they can kill them and eat them. And they go missing, but they didn't go into that. But yeah, it can get rough if somebody stumbles onto it, because you got to kill them, make sure they didn't have any family who's gonna like wonder what happened to them. But it was the 80s, right? So that's where it gets kind of strange.
Sure, 86, yeah.
What did you learn from the Us movie?
So ultimately, in addition to some of the deeper meanings that we talked about earlier in the episode, I would say the key that I really took away from this movie is that we need, as people, a deeper analysis of our lives, the way that we're living our lives, and what are the unresolved issues we have in our personal lives as well as in our society. I think this movie was a beautiful, horrible, scary depiction of that, that we have a lot of unresolved issues, like unresolved tunnels and unknown things happening.
Unresolved tunnels? That's a good
one.
Unresolved tunnels. I like that.
Is it possible to clone people? And if so, are they coming to kill us soon? Like, there's just like, it's like just creepy. And I just think that we need to like ask critical questions of people in power. We need to understand what are the people in power making decisions to do. And I think like we're more on that now. At least it seems like in media that people are demanding questions and are like, no. I mean, they're harping on like tax reports and stuff like that. But I'm more curious about tax returns. Yeah, but I'm more like are we secretly like growing people in the ground? Like I want to know like stuff like that. But just being more critical. I think that to me would be key just to take away from this. But how about you?
All right, I think we both forgot to mention sometimes dead is better.
Pet Cemetery reference.
Oh, okay. That was the wrong movie then.
Word.
But that, okay.
What were you suggesting? Adelaide be dead or Red be dead?
I mean, it would be easier if your clones were dead, but I guess not. I mean, maybe they should be alive. That's what it makes me think of that, though.
I love that
because
line.
then you don't have to worry about
dead
that.
Is better.
Yeah, see, maybe that's easier if your clone just. Oh, guess why? Because look at this. When they stopped the experiment, they thought the clones should just all die.
I guess
that's what whoever started the experiment. Maybe they thought the clones would die off, and that's why they thought sometimes dead is better.
If you killed the people above, would it automatically kill the tethered? See, that would be interesting.
They didn't go into that.
I know.
That's just up to interpretation. Yeah, that's got to be up to interpretation. No one can know for sure.
That's a great line. Sometimes dead is better.
That's one thing I think of.
Line. Yeah.
And then another thing we saw is at the end is that, and I mean, they talked about it in the beginning. They were building us up to it. Was that this movement of bonding people across a nation? And what actually happened is the bonding actually turned into kind of anarchy. And they showed it in the beginning as the Hands Across America, this movement for some type of charity or something. It was a real thing, actually, too. But in the movie, it was used in a different way because the tethered bonded together to take over the top people. So I thought that was interesting, is that you can take something good and turn it into evil, anarchy, whatever you want to call it.
Maybe that was also a symbol of like, you know, the downtrodden and the people who are run over and literally beneath others will always rise up. So maybe that's another.
I shall rise.
Yeah,
I still rise.
Us,
that thing.
We all matter, right? Yeah. And so maybe
it's that too. Yeah, maybe it was their time.
You can't
they
keep
were
people
treated
down
like nothing.
forever.
You know what's messed up though? Here's the messed up thing. The people above didn't even know about them.
I know, and that's and so, but like I tell
talk?
you, sometimes in
We couldn't
law,
talk?
right? Like that ignorance is not bliss. That if there was a way, if
That's
there was
messed up.
constructive notice for us to figure out as a society that we had this whole tethered population, then shame on us, and we do have to get stabbed with scissors. I mean, it is what it is. Like, because somebody above ground knew that they were down there, but just because those 10 people didn't tell the rest of society doesn't mean the society is not going to bear the punishment and the retribution that is owed them. I mean,
Yeah.
But yeah, you cannot keep people down forever.
That's true.
People will rise. So
Yeah. And then the last thing I think I learned was that some people are just as soft as sweet potato pie.
you talking crap about Gabe, which is a shame.
I
I
learned that.
love him because he's
I learned
M'Baku from Black
That was
Panther.
but
M'Baku.
don't even mention the same name as in Gabe. They're in different
Gabe,
sentences.
yeah, that was a real different like acting switch for him.
That was such a sweet man there.
Yeah, because as M'Baku, he was like badass.
He was so soft. I didn't know that existed. So this
But he
movie
was
taught
like,
me about that.
"Ooh, take my wallet.
Yeah, like he said,
my wallet."
I'll give you everything I have. Just leave us alone.
I know. I didn't know what he was doing.
I was like, wow,
very
where did that come
confused.
from? All right, I didn't know. You know how to surrender real quick.
Bravo to
Real
the whole
quick.
team. Bravo to Jordan Peele. I just can't wait for the next one. Can't wait for his he's doing it's like a
You know what's coming on after this? I don't know
Twilight
what's coming
Zone.
after.
He's doing a reboot or something like that.
He's directing Twilight Zone.
He's doing a new thing. I think so.
That's a series.
I
Though.
think he's doing a
Oh,
series
alright.
about that. As
Oh,
well
he's
now,
involved
so
in that.
he's
Okay.
doing
I know they're
something
doing
like
a reboot. I didn't know he's involved in it.
Yeah,
All right.
so just bravo, Jordan
That's
Peele.
good
Keep
to know.
doing what you're doing, sir. We applaud you.
All right. Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? It's scenario time, guys. Scenario 1. Brandy is afraid of horror films, but her friend, who is a big Jordan Peele fan, really wants her to see the film with her. Should Brandy get over her fear and enjoy the current craze of the film industry?
Interesting. So this is a question of you versus others.
That's a good way to look at it,
So
One way.
in life, especially now more than ever, you and me have been having interesting conversations in life. And I would say that ultimately, when you're living your life, you have to figure out what can you live with. Can you live with making decisions for others to your own benefit or not benefit, or do you choose you, or do you choose others in your life? I think if you are a practitioner of The Secret, if you're a practitioner of the law of attraction, that you have to choose you, because at least with you, you are living intuitively in line with what you want. If you choose for others, there's going to be a consequence, and most likely it's not going to yield what you want because it's not your decision. So if Brandy is at this juncture in her life not interested in overcoming her fear of horror films, then she respectfully should decline the invitation to attend.
Wow.
If she
Okay.
is interested in overcoming her fear, then she should go with her friend and get scared and not sleep for 2 nights. So that's where so it's gonna depend on what Brandy's willing to do at this juncture in her life.
All right. Well, for me, I just think she needs to get over her fear, because if the tether do come, she's done for, because she can't even handle a horror film.
Wow.
It's like, get over
That's
your
where
fears.
you went with that one. Okay.
Yeah, because what if it did come? What if any apocalypse came to be and she can't even get over a fear of a horror film? Like, I'm sorry, I know there's people that are scared of horror films, but if anything really went down and you're scared of films, I mean, maybe you say, oh, that's a film, but when it comes to real life, I'm gonna be able to deal with the situation. I don't know. You need to be able to deal with a horror film, because that to me is like an easy thing to overcome. That's just me, though. I mean, I see it as you need to get over that fear, because that's one of the easiest fears to get over. There's other fears that are like right in your face. It's physical. It's like affronting you currently. But a horror film, come on now. This is just moving images on a screen. It's pixels. It's made up of little tiny dots of colors. It's not real.
Sometimes I wonder if you're the Jamaican one, because that was real rough and tough of an answer, Khalil. You said, get over it. It is not that hard.
No, but you need to, because there's real situations that come up in life, and we don't need you cower in a corner when we need your help right here.
Well, Woken
That's
Free
messed
Nation,
up.
you heard it here. If
Get
you're
over horror
scared
film.
of horror films, Khalil says, suck it.
But I'm only saying, if your friend invited you, just go and see it and get over your fear. Just see it, and then you don't have to keep doing it. If you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to like it, but don't be just... I can't see it because I'm gonna
Petrified. You just don't
die.
want people to be petrified.
Yeah, you're not gonna die from it. Just go see it, and then you never have to go see them
it's my favorite
again.
genre of film, so
And you're scared of it.
secretly,
And
I
look.
want. Oh, I'm terrified.
Yeah,
of
see how
every
you
horror
can see
film,
it?
but
Then
I'm
anybody should be able
obviously
to see
a
it.
sadist.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something else then. Yeah, that's a
Why
different episode.
I keep torturing myself.
This isn't the fetish
But
episode.
there's in the episode on WokeNFree.com, there is an infographic that shows why do people see horror films. So please take a look at that, and it's linked to the original link for where you can access that. So, that's where we're at with it. Rough and tough.
Yeah, that's from me. Scenario 2. Jaronel is a young child who went to the beach with his parents. While his parents were looking away, he wandered towards a house of mirrors with an inviting pyramid symbol in the logo. Should he enter the house of mirrors since it looks so inviting, or should he go find his parents?
Of course, he should go and enter the pyramid place, the place with the pyramid, and go and get kidnapped or raped or died. Yep, excellent. Sounds like a plan.
Or just go and see himself and walk out and say that was boring.
My whole thing is, why are children
ways.
so empowered to go and do things where they know they can't even take care of themselves? Because you don't know what's
in a house of
these...
mirrors?
Yes.
I've never thought of House of Mirrors as dangerous.
Listen here.
That's just me, though.
If my future child listens to this, I will snatch you in half if you wander off anywhere. Do not wander off anywhere. Just go and get your parents and bring them to this place and say, hey, mom and dad, I want to go through this. Go with someone who can physically defend you, because whatever your J is, you cannot defend yourself. You're a young child. Don't go and wander off. Children listening, do not wander off anywhere in the world. I'm tired of that. So
yeah, I agree. He should just
get his parents.
He needs to go get his parents, and they should come in with him because they
crazy.
How come he's having all this fun on his own? That's unfair to the parents.
That's what you're thinking about. Yep. Smart.
He's going in the House of Mirrors. It's like, hey, the parents want to get in on this action.
Having too much fun in life. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
They see that pyramid. They know they want to go in there too and find out what's popping.
You're a lunatic.
What's popping in the mirror of pyramids? I don't know. Like, that doesn't make sense. He's just being selfish right there.
Exactly. Yep.
Share the fun.
Mm-hmm.
Snapchat does not count. That's what I say. Scenario 3. Lisa awoke in terror to find her doppelganger trying to strangle her in her sleep. She is not sure if she is really awake or asleep, but she is anti-violence. Should she struggle against her foe or try and talk this nemesis out of it?
Now that's a really insane, crazy question. Good job, Sarah. Good job.
Oh, was that? Okay, good. Let's end on that
note. Wowzers. So you said she awakes in terror, but she is vehemently against violence. Yeah. Should she talk to this fictional character on top of her out of harming her?
Well, she doesn't even know if it's fictional. She doesn't know if she's asleep or awake. See, that's the element of surprise.
Does she have medication she can take to clarify that question for herself?
I don't think this is the best timing to take medicine. Oh, gosh. I'll say that.
Lisa, if you awake to see your doppelganger, I suggest you get up and run. Instead of trying
run while you're strangled?
Kick the
you're
creature
a powerful
off
person.
Of her.
Kick? Oh, yes. Violence.
Yeah, because one has to defend your... Well, what's your life worth to you? I mean, I'm not sure. For me,
her life is worth a lot, but she's very anti-violence. She doesn't want to hurt anybody.
She's willing to die for herself, then good for her.
She wants to tell people their business.
Well, you can't if you're being strangled. So you have to decide.
Should she try to grab her phone? Do you want to
strangle in silence or just fight and live?
But could she not grab her phone, write a text message, and show it to the doppelganger? We can talk this out.
I don't even know what to say to you right now. You have lost it.
I'm trying to help you with anti-violence.
You lost it.
No, because
I'm
know that's true.
Jamaican, and so sometimes violence is the only
the best
choice.
answer.
Yes. Sometimes violence is the only answer.
I can't believe you.
And so you have to fight for your life. You only have one life to live. Don't let your fictional doppelganger kill you. That's what I say. I would kick whatever I thought was on top of me and get out and run and hopefully awaken to see that I was just losing my mind in my mind.
You do all that.
And not have to call the police to then be escorted to the psych ward.
Smart.
To tell them what I thought had happened.
All right, well, you're just breaking her vow of anti-violence.
Yes,
all right.
Fight for your life. Always.
All right. To me, she needs to learn sign language in this moment and just sign it out to her nemesis. Get off of me. I'd like to talk about this.
I'm gonna cuss you out.
No, you can't.
I'm gonna cuss you
no,
out
because
so bad.
you gotta stick to your vows.
She's going to learn sign language as being strangled.
Yeah, there's something that you love to say. Google it. I don't know how to do that. I'll Google it.
I don't know if you're joking or if you've been smoking, but you need to find your rabbit ass mind
Come on now.
quickly.
No, come on now, please. Come on. I gave you a good answer too. I gave you good. She has two good choices here. She's two good choices that we
Fight for her
presented.
life always. Always fight for your life, WokeNFree Nation. Fight for you. You're worth it every single time.
Well, you make the decision, guys. You decide on your own.
You decide and tell us in the comments.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We are at that time again. It is coming at the end of our 84th episode of WokeNFree. Quite the episode discussing all about the Us movie and what it is all about. Will I leave you hanging for what our next episode will be about? Drum roll, please.
On our next episode, we will be discussing the WokeNFree review of Austin, Texas. Make sure you follow us on social media to follow along the conversation. Make sure you tune in next week for WokeNFree Wednesday to join the conversation at WokeNFree.com.
If you want to be a guest on the show, please submit a topic for an upcoming episode or to share how you feel on our Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com. That is WokeNFree.com. We're very active on social media. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube at WokeNFree. And if you'd like to sponsor an upcoming episode or talk about a sponsorship deal, again, find us on our Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com.
If you didn't already subscribe, please do share the episode. Make sure you come back to join the conversation every Wednesday for WokeNFree Wednesdays. Remember, WokeNFree is more than a podcast, it's a way of life. Till next time, yeehaw!
Rabbit ass minds.